All right, everybody, welcome back to another video on the Harco Equipment YouTube channel. Today we are going to be putting a Stihl RZ 752i through its paces. I've never cut with the Stihl zero turn, so this will be my first time. Obviously, we're Gravely, Toro, and Stihl dealer at Harco, so this is a good opportunity for me to see how these do. We've got obviously some pretty tall grass. I don't recommend letting it get this bad before you cut it, but we're gonna kind of test this thing out and see how it does. So the 7 Series from Stihl is their second highest series in their commercial lineup. You've got Hydrogear ZT 4400 drives, so very heavy duty there. 28 horsepower Vanguard fuel injected engine with the oil guard setup. And the nice thing about the oil guard setup is that means 500-hour oil change intervals, which is unlike anything else on the market. You've got dual fuel tanks, 11 gallons fuel capacity. Deck construction is only 10 gauge, but it does have reinforcements around the spindles and on the leading edge, so it still seems like a pretty strong deck. Obviously, the main feature of these Stihl mowers is that 4-corner suspension. The 4-corner suspension on the Stihl zero turns really makes for a very comfortable ride. I can tell you, just getting it up here, I was really impressed by how smooth it rode. Not having a suspension seat, but having that 4-corner suspension, really impressive. You've also got LED headlights standard on all the 7 Series mowers. You can get the 7 Series in a 52 or a 60 with Kawasaki or Vanguard engine options. So there you have it, the RZ 752. We're gonna put it to work, start cutting some grass, see how it does. I'm gonna have some drone shots here and then I'll check back in. All right, I've cut with it now for about 30 minutes. And first impressions are that suspension works. Man, to be a machine that doesn't have a suspension seat, doesn't have an air ride seat, it really rides comfortable. That 4-corner suspension works. One thing I was curious about with the suspension was when that suspension compresses, does the deck drop the same level? And are you gonna have issues with scalping? But they actually have some really clever linkages built in here that help compensate. So when the suspension compresses, the deck lifts that same amount to keep you from scalping and to keep your cut quality clean and your height level the whole way across. So really impressive ride. Cut quality is good as well. There were a couple times I had to double cut some stuff, but I'm gonna blame that on me letting this grow too high and the fact that it's just pasture grass. It's not, high quality. I'll let y'all know at the end what my final thoughts are. Thanks for watching. All right, so final thoughts on the Stihl RZ 752i. This machine lives up to expectations. The suspension is a phenomenal feature, really comfortable machine. That's my number one takeaway. Power from that fuel injected Vanguard is great, it's very smooth. Power delivery comes on like you'd expect. I never found myself wanting for more power. Cut quality left a bit to be desired on the really tall stuff. There were a couple times that I had to double cut, but I'd say that's to be expected with the height of the grass, the thickness, and the fact that we started this morning and there was still dew on the ground. One thing that I noticed that really stood out is traction was surprisingly good. Being a 52-inch deck, you don't get the wide tires like you would on the 60, you get 9.5s. But for whatever reason, the traction was still really good. It might be to do with the suspension, keeping all 4 tires on the ground a little more consistently. But I noticed less slipping and sliding in hills and spaces where I'd normally feel the rear tires lose a little traction on other mowers. All in all, the RZ 752i, I'd say is a good machine. One thing I didn't touch on is your seating position as an operator is really, really good as well. I'm only 5'10", but being able to stretch out fully was nice. I think your taller guys would be comfortable as well. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, Harco Equipment is your home for Stihl handheld, zero turns, the full line. Harco Equipment.